transform depressing loneliness into nourishing solitude by focusing on spiritual purpose. Sometimes when circumstantially we are forced to distance ourselves from others, the resulting loneliness can be disheartening, disorienting, depressing. And we may desperately crave for association, but if we don't get it, then what can we do? We don't have to be disheartened. We can actually transform that loneliness into solitude. The defining difference between loneliness and solitude is in the direction of our consciousness. When our consciousness is centrifugally directed, when we are craving for company, and if we don't get it, then it is frustrating. But we have the capacity to redirect our consciousness. Solitude is when our consciousness is centripetally directed inward, and then not having close proximity with others can actually free us from distraction so that we can focus on going inward. Now, going inward sounds good, but often it is quite difficult because sometimes the inner territory doesn't seem very interesting, and sometimes it can seem quite disorienting. It's like probing in the dark. So we need some kind of resources for going inward. And the most fundamental resource is a spiritual purpose. If we understand that life is meant for something bigger than just pursuing external pleasures and external objects, then we can start going inward. And as we go inward, we can understand what is it that really matters to me. What are the values and purposes that are truly sacred for me, and is my day-to-day living aligned with those purposes? If it is not, how can I align myself better? With these kind of thoughts, when we move inward, then that makes our inner journey purposeful. Solitude can nourish the soul because it can actually help us connect with ourselves and the things that matter the most to us. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita says that one of the characteristics of people who are in knowledge is that they prefer solitude. Vivikta desha sevitvam aratir jana samsadi. So when we too recognize the value of solitude and we use that solitude for going toward our spiritual essence and ultimately toward the whole, toward the ultimate reality, Krishna, whose parts we are, then spiritual practices like yoga, meditation, prayer, journaling can all become tools that can help us go inward. So by cultivating the purpose of the spiritual purpose of a deeper self-understanding, we can transform loneliness into a solitude that nourishes and energizes, and eventually when we can re-emerge into the hustle bustle of the world, we will be rejuvenated and better focused to contribute constructively and effectively. Thank you. Hare Krishna.